Tonight at 11, protecting your child's digital footprint. Lessons and tips BCSD is teaching parents about the potential dangers of social media. And later, a deadly mass shooting at an MLK Day celebration in Florida. New information from police and reaction from those living in the area. Your ABC News 4 at 11 starts now.
Live from ABC News 4 in Charleston, this is ABC News 4 at 11.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tessa Spencer. Monitoring social media starts at home. That's the message Berkeley County School District is sending to their students' parents. Our Conley Grayson attended an informational meeting tonight and explains what you can do to protect your child.
The Berkeley County School District's Office of Security and Emergency Management has hosted several informational meetings on the possible dangers of social media. Parents learn they are the gatekeepers to their child's electronic experience.
This is part of life. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And if you're going to use it, we just want to be responsible and safe in how we use these social media apps and being online in general.
At Tuesday night's meeting, parents were informed on different social media apps and the type of content kids are engaging in. Security and Emergency Management Officer Charitha Kinlaw Hickman says challenges on TikToks are trending, and they can lead to crime, injury, and even death.
They take it more so as a game. They don't realize the dangers of it. And I think that's why it's so important for parents to realize that these challenges are out here and to speak to their children about it so they can know how it not only affects them, but it can affect others.
She warns social media not only can harm people physically, but also mentally.
They're trying to find their identity. And a lot of times it causes a lot of mental health issues because they're so busy trying to be liked. And trying to get people to get into certain groups that they don't realize how much it affects them and their mental health.
Plus, she talked about cyberbullying and catfishing becoming easier with more social media platforms and easy bypass privacy settings.
When our children get so in tune to it and they want to be accepted, especially when you want to get a certain amount of friends and a certain amount of likes, a lot of times they will do anything just to get that.
To help parents, she encouraged them to set up parental controls and showed them vault apps that may appear as a calculator, but secretly reveal inappropriate content. She hopes parents will take the information they learned and have open and honest conversations with their child.
Set rules and restrictions with regards to some of the things that they're doing so you will be aware of the contact they're making with individuals out there on social media.
Working for you in Berkeley County, Conley Grayson, ABC News 4.
And meanwhile, new tonight, Charleston County Schools making the hallways safer. The district telling ABC News 4 5 school security officers have been placed on campuses throughout the district. 4 will be at North Charleston Elementary Schools. For months, we have been reporting on school resource officer staffing in North Charleston schools. In a sit-down with Police Chief Reggie Burgess last summer, he would not tell us how many officers his team needed to patrol schools. North Charleston PD told us in August, 13 North Charleston Elementary Schools will be staffed by 6 floating SROs. CCSD made it very clear these are security officers, not SROs staffing the schools. For more information, look for this story on the homepage of abcnews4.com.
Nice and warm out there today. Temperatures climbed up into the 70s, but it's going to get even warmer. By the time we get into Thursday, it's going to be close to record territory. High of 77 is the forecast. Record high 78 set all the way back in 1950. So we're going to be looking at a record from 73 years that could be going down. Here's what we have with our temperatures outside right now. Right about 60 on the coast, mid and upper 50s elsewhere, and we should end up in the mid 50s for lows. There's where we are compared with last night, about 10 degrees warmer than what we were seeing on Monday, and we'll continue to see these nice warm temperatures over the next few days. Very light rain showers out there, especially between Somerville, Goose Creek, and Moncks Corner along Highway 52 there. Some showers, and that rain is going to dry up and push off the coast within the next hour or two. Here you see it. We'll keep those skies cloudy overnight tonight, and it will be mild, only headed back to the mid-50s. We'll talk about those warmer temperatures, plus our next weather maker. I've got that coming up in just a few minutes.
3 years ago today, Kane-based student Grayson Cooper lost his life to suicide. Tonight, his family and friends celebrated his life at his parking spot at Cane Bay High. They held a candlelight vigil to remember Grayson, share their stories about him, and honor everyone who has lost their life to suicide. Grayson's best friend Zach was at that vigil with his 1-year-old son, named after Grayson.
And we were like, oh great, we're having a boy, let's name him Grayson. And I was like, you know what, that's perfect. That is your best friend. I would love to have, Grayson named after your best friend, especially like the bond that you guys have, because you'll have a bond just like your son, just like your best friend.
And Grayson was just 16 years old when he passed away. It was his dream to be in the Air Force and one day own a diesel mechanic shop. A police K-9 sniffed out 57 pounds of drugs at Charleston International. According to Charleston County Aviation Authority Police, the drugs were in 2 suitcases on the luggage carousel. They said they found the narcotics tucked inside pillowcases. Carl Days and Tyler Davis were arrested for trafficking. Police say the men had just gotten off a flight from Denver that originated in Los Angeles. In national headlines tonight, Florida police confirmed 1 woman died after a mass shooting at an MLK Day parade in Fort Pierce yesterday. St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office says 7 others were also shot. Dylan Huberman spoke to those living in the area. They say that they're tired of gang violence.
The woman who was killed by a stray bullet took her 6-year-old daughter to the parade with her on Monday afternoon and stayed for the event in Ellis Park afterward. Here in the neighborhood, locals tell us they're tired of seeing gang violence taking innocent lives. A day of celebration ended in fear and tragedy.
Shots were fired and 8 people were shot. 4 others were injured as they attempted to flee that chaotic scene of the shooting. I'm here to sadly report that one of those victims died this morning.
St. Lucie County Sheriff Ken Mascara says a murder investigation is underway. And investigators believe this woman's death was the result of gang-related violence at a Martin Luther King Day event at a local park.
At this time, evidence supports that this shooting was the result of a dispute between 2 rival Fort Pierce gangs.
Law enforcement says gang activity is on the rise on the Treasure Coast, and too many innocent people are getting caught in the crossfire. Tuesday afternoon, teams from the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office and the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms scoured the area searching for evidence. People who live around the park could only look on as investigators processed another violent crime scene here, so close to their homes.
Really hurt at the moment. A lot of people are being killed in these gang-related violences that needs to stop.
Evil mostly come out at night. Always have been. You understand? So that's the way I feel about it. Night coming, I be in my house.
The sheriff's office is committed to stopping this violence, and he will use whatever resources are needed to find the people responsible for Monday night's deadly shooting.
Let me be very, very clear that if you are thinking of or are hiding, supporting, protecting, aiding, helping in any way, any suspect, anyone involved in this heinous incident, then I can assure you that we will arrest you and we will charge you to the fullest extent of the law.
Chief Deputy Hester says the investigation is progressing and they are developing leads on potential suspects. The sheriff's office is also asking anyone who may have information to call in tips. In Fort Pierce, I'm Dylan Huberman reporting.
Stay with us. When we come back, helping students rebound from the educational loss caused by the pandemic. A look at the growing trend to help kids bounce back in the classroom. We've told you before the many ways the pandemic has negatively impacted childhood education, from lower testing scores to social barriers presented by virtual learning. It's unknown how long it could take before students rebound completely. But experts see one solution becoming more popular: one-on-one tutoring. Connor Ingalls spoke with the program about the increasing demand for their services.
As educators look to help students bounce back in the classroom, one thing we're turning to is help from those outside it.
It's families, it's those of us in the community, it's universities, it's colleges. It's going to take all of us kind of knitting those gaps.
Rebecca Masters is the coordinator for the Dalton and Linda Floyd Mentoring Program, a joint effort between Coastal Carolina University and Horry County Schools, where college students spend one-on-one time with an elementary or middle school-aged mentee every week.
That can really make a difference in a child catching up and being able to be able to succeed in that year, catch up with math, catch up with reading.
According to the Washington Post, 56% of school districts nationwide are now offering high-dosage tutoring services. Masters says since the pandemic, they've seen more and more students and families turning to them for help.
COVID really had an impact on child learning, and it's not just the schools that have that responsibility to help kids catch up.
I really like my mentee. He's like my best friend.
Olivia James has been a mentor and tutor in the program for more than a year now. She says it's easy to see the impact COVID had on students, both academically and emotionally.
Because it's hard to just learn with computers because you can get distracted and stuff like that. And even with the social emotional, you don't really get to interact with your peers.
And as these one-on-one frequent tutoring sessions become more common, Masters says their benefits could be key in getting our children back on the path to success.
Statistically, kids who are mentored also attend college at a higher rate. They also are in leadership positions at a higher rate. So it's not just, immediate effects that we're seeing in our kids. We also know we're setting them up for a trajectory of success.
Now on ABC News 4 at 11, we're working for you with a Storm Tracker update.
Our temperatures warmed up nicely, and we're going to keep it very spring-like for the next few days. Eventually, we're tracking our next weather maker, and we'll see that coming up here right after this.
I was driving down the highway, and this car just swerved right into my lane. I called those thumbs up guys. They settled my case for over $430,000.
Call us. We're those thumbs up guys.
Call 843-885-8000.
A little bit of light rain moving through the area right now, but it's not cooling our temperatures down. The front will never even push through the low country. This is what we have. The 70s have returned. They'll stay with us through the rest of the work week. It's going to turn cooler for the weekend, but still stay above average. And we are going to see rain showers coming in on Sunday. That's good news because we are slipping into a drought. Something cool tomorrow morning. Now, no guarantees that we'll see it. If it were clear and perfect viewing conditions, we would definitely see this tomorrow morning. But if the clouds are around, it'll be tough to see the SpaceX Falcon 9 launch tomorrow morning at 7:10. It leaves from Cape Canaveral, and the trajectory on this one is northeast. So that takes it right up the coast. If the clouds break tomorrow morning, look east, and you'll be able to see the vapor trail, and you'll be able to see that rocket shooting up through the sky. We also have something coming up this weekend, Meteorology Day and Space Night at Fatty's Beer Works downtown. I'll be out there talking weather. I love to go out there and talk weather. Bring the kids. We'll make some clouds. We'll have some fun. 60 degrees at 1 p.m., 62 at 3, and 58 at 5 p.m. with a mix of sun and clouds. Our temperature trend over the next few days, very warm. Today's high 74, same tomorrow, but we're going to see more in the way of cloud cover on Wednesday. Then Thursday, with a little more sun, we're going to be close to the record high of 78. I think we'll top off at 77. A little cooler on Friday and closer to average Saturday, back up to 66 on Sunday, and that's our wet day. Here's where we were today. Pretty big difference between Charleston at 74 and Greenville at 54, but even Greenville was 1 degree above average today. We were 14 degrees above average here in Charleston. Temperatures right now, lower to mid-50s for much of the state, still hanging on to temperatures right around 60 on the coast. There are those few light rain showers. Those will be wrapping up within about the next hour. There they are, pushing through Somerville, headed toward Goose Creek, and those will continue to slide a little closer to Ladson, North Charleston, and eventually off the coast. Here's what we see around the southeast, and once those few showers wrap up this evening, it's going to be pretty quiet. The cold front will never even make it through here. That's going to lift back to the north as a warm front. Lots of clouds tomorrow morning, and we'll continue to see those clouds into the afternoon. Then as we head toward our Thursday, a little bit more in the way of sunshine. Temperatures will warm up. This cold front will come through and cool us down a couple degrees headed toward Friday, but nothing bitterly cold. Fish and game forecast, 6 a.m. to noon and 6 p.m. to midnight. Those are the best times for some hunting and fishing. A look at what we have tonight, 54 to 58, so staying mild with a spotty shower and then just the cloudy skies. Plenty of clouds tomorrow, a little sun, warming back up around 74, just like we saw today. There's the next week, and the warmest day is Thursday at 77. A little cooler Friday and cooler still on Saturday. There's your soggy day Sunday. Should dry out early next week.
In political news tonight, the White House facing criticism for releasing limited information regarding the discovery of classified documents at President Biden's home and office. On Saturday, the White House announced the president's attorneys found 5 additional pages of classified documents at Biden's Delaware home. Just one day before, the White House press secretary said Americans could assume the investigation had been completed. Reporters pressed her on it today, suggesting the White House is not being forthcoming with its information.
I provided the information that you all had at the time, and I confirmed. No, I did not know. I'm saying I had the information. I actually said this to Cecilia. I had the information that you all had at the time, right? And so this is why I also said to Cecilia, this is why we are trying to be very prudent here, and we're trying to be very consistent.
The latest find is in addition to the discovery of documents found in December in Biden's garage and in November at his former offices at the Penn Biden Center in Washington. The documents date back to Biden's time as vice president. A bill set to be discussed in the state Senate targets people who sold drugs with fentanyl that led to a deadly overdose. The bill would let courts charge people who provide drugs to those who die from overdoses with fentanyl-induced homicide. It carries up to 30 years in prison.
Something has got to be done because this situation is out of control. It's completely out of control. I don't know. If you look at our surrounding counties, we had 30-something last year of fentanyl-related deaths, and I don't know what the surrounding counties have, but that's a lot.
SCDHEC says between 2019 and 2020, fentanyl was involved in 79% of the 1,400 overdose deaths in the state. The bill is scheduled to be discussed this week in a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee meeting. Across the country, in Seattle, Washington, overdose data shows things are going in the wrong direction at a rate health officials describe as exponential. As concerning as the data is, health officials also say it disproportionately affects people experiencing homelessness or who are in supportive housing. Jeremy Harris has a look at what the new data means for the city.
We have a real problem here in the city, and it's going to take some real action.
David has seen the danger of fentanyl firsthand.
I've been fortunate and blessed enough to get to save 2 people, administered Narcan to both of them, and done chest compressions and brought them back to life.
We met him today at a homeless camp in Seattle, where data shows the fentanyl overdose problem is accelerating at an alarming pace.
It can happen to anybody.
Data from the King County Medical Examiner shows overall overdose deaths are now more than triple what they were 10 years ago. The biggest spike attributed to fentanyl. End-of-year data for 2022 shows around 20 people a month are dying in fentanyl-related overdoses in King County. That's up from fewer than 5 in 2019. Today, a report by the Seattle Times said fentanyl is the fuel behind the record number of deaths among the homeless in Seattle in 2022. Times reporting says homeless deaths jumped 65% last year over 2021. Fentanyl overdoses accounting for more than half of those deaths, according to the Times.
I've seen it happen with Oxycontin, and I'm afraid we're going to see it with the fentanyl.
Public health workers have been racing to stop fentanyl's grip on the city, with fentanyl test strips and outreach with the life-saving drug Narcan. Law enforcement has also been trying to stop the flow of fentanyl on the streets. Tonight, the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office told us around 70% of felony drug dealing cases in the county involve fentanyl or meth. A Washington Supreme Court ruling decriminalized drug possession in 2021, but King County prosecutors say they are continuing to prosecute drug dealers, and right now about 70% of the cases they're seeing involve either fentanyl or meth. I'm Jeremy Harris reporting from Seattle.
Coming up in sports in just a few minutes, the Clemson Tigers putting that perfect conference record on the line tonight. Scott Eisberg with the highlights and reaction after the break.
With Scott Eisberg, sponsored by Somerville Ford.
Putting that record on the line. Good evening, I'm Scott Eisberg, 7-0 in the ACC, first place in the conference. They just beat Duke, now ranked 19th in the country. The Clemson Tigers with the target on their backs tonight. They invade Winston-Salem. The question, can they keep this thing going? Let's head up to Winston for this one. Joel Coliseum, Tigers fighting from behind early and really the entire game. P.J. Hall, the 3-ball from the top of the key. Then it's another double-double for Hunter Tyson. Buckets, Tigers down 10 at the break. Second half, huge play here for Clemson. Chauncey Wiggins with the 3-ball. It is good, and the foul. It's a 4-point play at 65-59 Wake, but a dagger from Cameron Hildreth. Wake Forest, they end Clemson's perfect ACC season 87-77, the final score. South Carolina and Ole Miss. There's Lamont Paris and the Gamecocks looking to get in the win column in the SEC. They're taking on Ole Miss, who entered winless in the conference. Carolina falls behind early in this one. Freshman G.G. Jackson drops the hammer, cuts the deficit to 3. Jackson adds 15 and 7. Hayden Brown, former Citadel Bulldog, strong drive in transition. South Carolina on a 6-0 run, but like much of the night, Mitch Morrell helped the Rebels pull back away with a timely basket. 5 triples, part of a game-high 23 to go with 9 boards. Ole Miss takes down South Carolina 70-58. High school hoops now, big-time region matchup in Berkeley County tonight. 16-2 Goose Creek, 14-4 Cane Bay. Control of the region certainly on the line tonight. The biggest question, who is the more GQ coach? Blake Hall always with the solid tee and jacket. Sean McKean always about shoes. After zooming in, I see these are Versace. Well done. I asked Natalie Spala, our resident shoe guru. She says out of her price range. Oh yeah, basketball. Dante Taylor, 3-ball for Goose Creek here in the second. Tight ball game. Cane Bay comes right back. Chauncey Capers drive, hoop, and foul. More Goose Creek doing their damage from deep. Elijah Dates knocks it down. He is happy about that. Then great hustle, good ball movement to Justin Britt for 3, and Goose Creek beats Cane Bay tonight 57-47, the final score. Stratford and Wando going at it tonight across town in Goose Creek. There is Wando head coach Calvin Kraft. Tight ball game between these two. Omar Shepard from deep for the Knights knocks it down, but how about this tough play underneath for Wando? 3 misses, 3 rebounds, and then the putback. Ty Cullen and the foul for the Tribe of East Cooper. Looking good. More Stratford. Knights Cam Clark hits it from mid-range right there. Wando gets one back. Paul Durrell with the bucket. This one goes down to the wire. Stratford wins it. Cam Clark with the game winner. 57-54, the final score. Girls action. Lucy Beckham hosting James Island tonight over in Mount Pleasant. Great ending to this one. Head to the late fourth quarter action. Logan Collins bucket for Beckham. They're in the lead, but how about this? Under 10 seconds to go. It's James Island's Andrea Duncan drive, hoop, and foul. Tack on the free throw. 30-28 Beckham. One final shot for James Island. They set up the play. 4 seconds left, but the shot's no good, and Beckham escapes. 30-28, the final score. That'll do it for sports. I'm Scott Eisberg. Have a great night.
The story in the Daily Mail looks at some of the most strange laws across the globe. Sandcastle building is banned on some beaches in Spain. All right, get this. It's illegal to flush the toilet after 10 p.m. in Switzerland. The government looks at it as noise pollution. If you own chickens in Quitman, Georgia, don't even think about letting them cross the road. It's mandatory for chicken owners to have full control over them. Norway has a ban on fireworks unless it's New Year's Eve. And this one is my favorite. Fairbanks, Alaska made it illegal to give moose alcohol after a drunken moose rampage occurred back in 2007. But it sounds like a great name for a bar. Do you know of any bars that's called like the Drunken Moose?
The Drunken Moose?
Yeah.
No, I know a bar that's called Sledder's Tavern, and you're supposed to kiss the moose when you go into the tavern.
Oh.
That
This
would
guy
be
said
in
there's that.
Traverse City, Michigan.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
we'll have to ask Spalla about that. Yeah, we are going to be looking at those temperatures on the mild side for the next few days. 77 on Thursday, rain chance coming in by Sunday.
All right, don't give your moose alcohol. Definitely don't kiss him. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a blessed one. Good night.